Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux, here with a review for Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, but before I talk to you about that, I would like to talk to you about Wandering Witch Publishing. One of my friends started a publishing company for poetry, short stories, and novels. And if you're interested in developing one of these things, Wandering Witch Publishing is a place for you. But before that can happen, this upstart company needs help getting up and started. She has launched a GoFundMe page, which you can check out down in the description below, as well as information about the website, or about Wandering Witch Publishing itself, through their own website. Wandering Witch is a space for growth where imaginative thinkers come together to challenge perspectives by engaging in counterculture through magical realism and real magicalism. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, please check out those links in the description below. But moving on to Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, this is a movie that kind of got railed at the box office. And because of that, online had quite a bit of discourse around it. And I feel like this is a prime example of if you tell somebody that a story doesn't matter, people won't show up to engage with that story. It's too bad, too, because I don't think Shazam 2 is a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. I liked it. It's not as good as the first Shazam movie, but it is good. It's a good, entertaining time. I think it's a better looking movie. I think it has excellent use of brightness and color, and it has interesting characters. I will say, one of the things that is easy to slight about the film is that Zachary Levi, even though he's good, is kind of the weak point of the movie. And it's not necessarily he's the weak point, it's just the Shazam character isn't quite as engaging as the characters that surround him. I like the other members of the Shazam family better. I think Adam Brody is the strongest of the bunch. He's the most engaging character, and Jack Dylan Glazer, who plays the younger form of that character, is easily the best aspect of the first movie as well as the second movie, and the second movie doubled down on it by having him be predominantly the face of the young kids and having the young Shazam have like 3-4 scenes. He's hardly in it. You get a lot more adult Shazam in this one, but a lot of young Jack Dylan Glazer with that Freddy character. He's the best character of the bunch, and they give him an interesting romance in this movie that plays off really well with Rachel Zegler, who is very, very good. I really like her. She's one of my favorite young up-and-coming actresses, and I can't wait to see more of her. The movie also suffers from a bad villain. And it's not necessarily that the villain is bad. You have two villains that are serviceable, one played by Helen Mirren and one played by Lucy Liu. But I have no idea why they didn't just marry those two characters together. That way you could shave off 10-15 minutes of screen time. Because neither character really has much character, and you could easily dissolve the two into one. And I have no idea why that isn't the case. I feel like that's a studio note thing, where like they came to the pitch meeting and they had pitched the villains for this movie as a single villain, but having it like this old goddess played by Helen Mirren, and the studio's like, maybe we can get somebody a little bit younger to kind of fuel that. And there's really kind of, it's not necessarily two villains, it's kind of three, but only kind of three, and you have one that is on the older side, one that is in the middle ground side, and one is on the younger side. And I feel like that's just a studio note thing to like sell toys or something. I'm not quite sure, but it's confusing as all hell, and doesn't, just in that none of the characters really have that much character, particularly those two. The other one does have character, and I'll let you discover that for watching the movie. But I just don't understand. I was perplexed the entire movie, and thinking more about this than some of the actual scenes in the movie with them, of why they couldn't have just like clapped those two characters together. But to the good qualities of the film, it is funny. I did laugh out loud a lot. I think the action is engaging. This is much more of an action spectacle film than the first one was. The first one, you were really kind of hunkering down in the characters and getting to know them and stuff, and that came with all the positives that the movie had to offer, with a couple of the downfalls. This has a lot fewer of those downfalls. I think they make better use of the characters, and it's a more even movie. It's a more tempered paced movie, which is good. The action scenes are quite strong. I really liked the climax at the end and whatnot. So I'm going to give the movie a very firm 3 stars, and hop off now if you don't want spoilers. I'm going to hit you with spoilers right here at the very, very end. So spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Shazam dies at the end of this movie, and it's a rather dramatic moment. It's the moment that would make this movie matter. And it doesn't land because you have the cameo of Wonder Woman, which they spoiled in the trailers, which is genuinely unfortunate. But you had the cameo of Wonder Woman showing up to bring life back to Shazam. And I don't think it's necessary, especially in a world where this is all going to be rewritten anyway. I think the dramatic conclusion of Shazam finally growing and learning something throughout this film, he doesn't really end up learning much of anything, but the way that they ended his character and his sacrifice actually had dramatic weight to it. And if they had just ended it there at that the burial site, it's a great ending, and it makes the movie matter, and I think you would have gotten audiences to come. But I think the studio thinking was that audiences will come if they know Wonder Woman's in this, and so much so that they put it in the trailer. And that's the thing that weirdly I think holds it back from having success on a theatrical level. And it's genuinely unfortunate. It's not a bad scene, and I like the interplay between him and Wonder Woman. It's kind of cute, and I mean, it's always nice to see more Wonder Woman because she is great, and Gal Gadot is awesome. But yeah, that's kind of my biggest complaint about the movie, is it had a perfect ending, and then they did a buyback that was unnecessary. I'm going to compare it to another movie, so I'm going to give spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. If you don't want to hear that spoiler, hop off in 3, 2, 1. They did a similar thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in the sense that they could have had... They had Ant-Man make the ultimate sacrifice of staying down in the quantum realm. If it meant keeping Kang down there permanently, then so be it. He makes the ultimate sacrifice, and that movie has dramatic weight, but then the Wasp shows up, finally, and does something, finally, rescues Ant-Man, sends Kang into the, quantum realm forever, and Ant-Man's out, and then it buys back any kind of dramatic heft that movie had going for it, and it also makes for Kang's inevitable re-emergence not as dramatic, because Ant-Man's around, and if he was able to beat him, or they were able to beat him, why can't the Avengers, kind of thing. So it is more damaging than successful. Yes, I know you want to keep making these stories, but sometimes the story is the most important thing, not necessarily the characters, and if that's something that a character has to be sacrificed for, even a good character, even a marketable character, it's important to do so. And so that was my problem with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It had a great finale that they didn't stick the landing on because they want more Ant-Man. And this, they want more Shazam. And this is definitely at the sacrifice of the film, because I don't think that's ever going to happen. So we live in a world now that teases a third movie that is unlikely to ever happen with this cast, with these people, when we could have had a movie that has a very strong conclusion and would have gotten people talking about the bravery of the movie, and I think had critics a little bit more forgiving of the film. The ones that were detractors, I think it holds a relatively respectable Rotten Tomato score. But I think you would have gotten butts and seats if you'd done the dramatic thing, especially knowing that you're going to eliminate this, character from play for a while, why not just do it? I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Let me know what you thought of Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods in the comments down below. Did this movie work for you? I talked to quite a few people at my place of work who they thought this was one of the lesser movies, and I'm curious to find out if it's because of its buyback conclusion. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and definitely check out Wandering Witch Publishing in the description links below. Peace.